in the R115 zone, and this is directly related to the previous item.
Okay, before I move forward on the slide, I just wanted to point out, just for information's sake, at the upcoming meeting, you will see another rezone request for this triangular piece right here for the same zoning, R115. Okay, so again, here's the location with the aerial showing the existing, of course, not exactly existing, this is a little bit older, it doesn't show all the built homes in this area, but this is the roadway that has come through it, and here is the location of the stub road, so plan to continue on through there. So then the plat that is being brought forward is exactly that lot, and here's the dimensions of it with the extension of the road to the southern portion of that. No concerns with this, and it was recommended unanimously for approval by the Plan Commission. Well, I might also point out that looking at our vicinity plan, it does show the extension of the roadway coming through here, although the actual lot lines here vary from what is being proposed right here. The road is proposed to go like that and then bend over to tie into 5 areas.
So that's just the vicinity plan of this
Right, to show how the development can work according to road proposals for plan.
And I think that was also one of the concerns from our resident that lived across the street last time. Okay.
How do we handle end of roads like that?
How do we what, I'm sorry?
Handle end of roads, you just kind of terminate temporarily.
Right. It's considered a temporary turnaround, and I think because it's only one lot in Dagan, you may want to tie in here that there's not a grander need.
If I remember correctly, if you have over 150 feet of temporary dead-end street, then you have to provide a turnaround. I don't remember offhand what this probably triggered.
Yeah, I think it's less than that.
Okay. There's another item on the agenda tonight that I'll probably ask the same question.
Okay. All right, so this is item C. Sorry, do I have anything to sign on that one? So I'll entertain, is there any other discussion on that, item C? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll move that we approve a one-lot final plat called Atwood Estates located approximately 1244 and 560 east of the R115 zone.
Motion by Jay,
And I'll second it.
second by Diana, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kim. Okay, item D, public hearing to consider for adoption a resolution 2014-08, amending the general plan use map, changing land use classification on 7.11 acres from neighborhood commercial, that's the CN, to low density residential located at approximately 100 east and 1100 north in the Big Springs neighborhood.
Okay, items D, E, and F are all related to the same request here. So we start off with D and then move on to C, and both of those are in preparation for the ultimate goal, which is the request to approve a plat, a final plat. In order to approve the final plat, the zone needs to be changed. In order to change the zone, we need to amend the general plan. And so I will explain how that works here. So currently, in the area that is seen by aerial view, this is, according to the general plan, designated as neighborhood commercial. It's on the corner of 1100 north and 1100 east. About 7-8 years ago, when we did the general plan update, we identified several locations in town, mostly on corners or high-traffic roadways, that could eventually become small neighborhood commercial locations. Since that time, there has not been any interest expressed from any of the property owners to move forward on those. Last year, we did a review on those, and the council recommended that we eliminate some of them, and that this is one out of 2 that was left, not with great reasoning, but other than it could work, and so we'll leave it on there. So as far as my understanding is with the city council and in my office in review of this, there's no great need to maintain a neighborhood commercial designation on this property. So the request is, if you'll look at the outlined property in black here, this is the area where they would like to approve a final plat. But as you can see, it is located within the neighborhood commercial area, and they want to build residential. So that doesn't match with either the zoning or the general plan. So the request is that they be allowed to have at least this, initially the request was just take this area out of neighborhood commercial. When we looked at the remaining parcels, it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to leave that in commercial because the usability would be very limited in a commercial sense. So we recommended that the applicant request the entire area be taken out of the general plan designation of neighborhood commercial. That seemed to make a bit more sense. Either we leave it in its entirety or we remove it in its entirety. From a planning standpoint, it makes more sense. So that is their request on this particular item, is that we remove that general plan designation from neighborhood commercial to low-density residential, which is all of the property surrounding this in the greenish-yellow color is low-density residential. So it would fall in line with the neighborhood.
So Ken, are we talking about just the black box, or are we talking about the entire?
This item, we're talking about the entire piece in the area.
How many property owners are involved? Is it just one or multiple?
It's the Larson family. So there are various properties, and they might be under different names, but it is the Larson property, excuse me, the Larson family.
And they're all in agreement?
Yes.
And was Larson also the same property owner that was slightly to the east?
Yes.
And they developed that?
They have to, yeah, that's the
clear to
Larson,
300 East?
Larson Acres. This is actually Larson Acres A and B.
Okay.
How many was this number C?
Just look and see.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We previously approved another C, and that project never finished, so this is now C.
Any questions for Ken?
Can you speak to how frequently these general plan amendments occur, or is this?
Rarely. Yeah, we probably from the city, we do it just as frequently as any other applicant would. So normally when requests come in for a zone change or development of some sort, and if it doesn't meet the zone, then we give them their options to change the zone. And if it doesn't match the general plan, that's where we say, well, it might be a little bit more difficult to get that zone changed because it would also require amending the general plan. So sometimes they feel like, well, we still want to do that, so then it comes forward.
Did this one go before the planning commission?
Yes.
What was the discussion there?
There wasn't any big concern there. They did recommend it unanimously.
So basically, commercial neighborhood just, it really doesn't take off.
Nobody could find a really good reason to maintain it.
Okay. Okay, it is a public hearing. Why don't we go ahead and open it up to the public? If anyone has comments or concerns on this item, please feel free to come up, take the podium, state your name and address. Don't all come at once. Anyone at all? Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on this item and bring it back up here. Is there any further discussion? I just have a comment, Ken. I think that it was wise on staff's part and planning commission to, rather than spot it, just take it out and make the whole area consistent with one zone. It seems to make more sense. Okay, any other thoughts or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2014-08, amending the general plan land use map, changing the land use classification on 7.11 acres from neighborhood commercial to low density residential, located at, wait for it, approximately 100 east, 1100 north.
Okay, we have a motion by Sid.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Diana. By voice, Ben,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes.
and Diana.
Yes,
Is Diana or Diana? They're still spelling it Diana.
it's Diana.
Motion carries, thank you.
But I'm very okay with that.
Okay, so let's move on to item E, which is related, correct?
Yes.
This is the public hearing to consider for adoption ordinance 2014-10, rezoning approximately 1.6 acres from RR, which is rural residential, to R112, single-family residential, for property located at approximately 170 East, 1100 North.
Excuse me.
Okay, so now we're on to the rezone request. As you can see now that we have split zoning in the area where they want to create this plat. Part of it is in the R110 and part of it is in the RR, which RR requires a half-acre minimum lot size. So they want to, their idea is to create lots that will fit under an R112 zone or a minimum of 12,000 square feet in this subdivision. But then that requires that the western half be rezoned to the R112. Again, the R112 and the R115 zones are those that are permitted by general plan in this area. So it does match, although you'll note that the east side is currently zoned R110, and we do have some other R110s in this area of general plan designation. However, we do not encourage or, well, we wouldn't be able to approve any further R110s based upon the general plan designation. So the R112 is what fits in this area. It would set a guide for the remaining RR properties when they were ready to come forward to be zoned R112 as well. So there's not any big planning concern between R110 and R112. It's very little difference.
Right. From a procedural perspective, do you only do the specific property being developed, or do you do the whole?
We do at times include the whole. We talked to the applicant at this time, and they were not sure what their intentions would be into the future. In taking it out of RR, it does remove the animal rights that they would have on the property. So they were willing to take the animal rights off of this proposed property, but for now they wanted to maintain those rights. And
So the ponies stay. Self-promoted there. All right, any questions for Ken? Okay, this is also a public hearing, so we're going to open it up to the public. Does anyone have a comment on this particular item? Please come up and state your name and address. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back up here. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
This is Ian.
This is 2014-10.
Okay.